to focus on getting more diverse voices on the podcast. I need more Republicans on the podcast. I've got one here now. I'm here in New York City, staying in my hotel. I'm doing a corporate event for GSN, and I started following this young lady a while ago. She's very interesting. It's a very interesting background and story to where it led her to be a Republican strategist.
Yes.
And a Trump campaign spokesperson. So my guest today is ERIN ELMORE. I'm going to introduce you more properly right now.
That's fine. I can handle it.
Can you handle hearing all of your things?
Yeah.
All right. You're an attorney.
Yes.
Republican strategist, TV host.
Mm-hmm.
During the 2016 campaign, you worked as a spokesperson for Donald Trump. Heard of him. Also as deputy press secretary at the Republican National Convention in Cleveland. You were part of that shit show. Congratulations.
It was so fun, to be honest.
Was it? Okay,
I'll go with that later.
You interviewed Ivanka Trump several times on the campaign trail and had the opportunity to travel with her campaigning across the state of Pennsylvania. Your commentary has been featured on Fox News, Fox Business, CNN, Headline News, MSNBC, Yahoo News, Good Morning Britain.
Hello.
Wow. Did you do the voice?
No.
Okay, smart.
It's probably embarrassing for them.
Yeah, totally. One American News, Glenn Beck's The Blaze, and more. You recently became acquainted with President Trump and his family as a successful candidate on his show, The Apprentice. You were an Apprentice candidate.
I was.
Very exciting.
Did really well.
You did?
Yeah.
What place did you finish?
I was on every episode but 2.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah, it was fun.
What does that mean, like 5th place?
Yeah, I mean, you know.
I never watched it.
It's fun.
I should watch it. I'd like to watch it.
You'd like it.
You have a law degree from Villanova University, a broadcasting and political science degree, cum laude from University of Miami in Florida.
Move the chains, or bring the chain, right? Isn't that what they say?
Is that what it is?
Like the chain around the neck when they score a thingamajig.
Oh, I don't know. I guess the Hurricanes that well.
Well,
also, I feel like
involved.
such a fancy degree should not be referred to as cum laude. I feel like that's not the right title. ERIN is the wife to CEO, tech entrepreneur, and 9/11 survivor Craig Spitzer, and mom to 5-year-old Royce Spitzer.
Yes.
You're also a fitness freak, weekend wine enthusiast, podcast beer enthusiast.
Yes, true.
And a sunglass hoarder. Cheers again.
All true. All true.
Thank you for coming here to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. This is so fun.
Yeah, it's exciting.
I've never done a podcast. Can I say that?
Is this true? It's your first podcast?
I'm new to this.
I like that. Okay, good. Cocktails are a key part of it.
Hence drinking the beer.
I like that. All right, so I thought you were like Republican, true and true, since birth Republican as many are, and you just told me moments before we started recording that you voted for Obama twice and were never Republican before Trump.
Well, no, never, not once.
So explain to me this madness.
I mean, you know, we grow up and we live our lives, but I was excited for the whole hope and change thing with Obama. I wasn't as politically minded or involved, and I obviously have the political science degree, but voted for Barack Obama twice, and I expected hope and change, but all we got is more IRS agents. And I realized that we didn't really get hope and change, and no one was really empowered. And then I personally had a connection to Donald Trump, and really it spiraled into a way that I've totally changed my way of thinking and the way I live my life and who I am as a person. I'm an NRA member, and I'm a totally different person, by the way I think.
Okay, so what was your connection to Trump, first of all?
Well, as you mentioned, I was on the show The Apprentice with him,
right.
so I've known him since...
You met him there?
I mean, knew him really well. Wrote me letters of recommendation, totally advanced my career, helped me get jobs, was kind to me, was respectful to me.
Never harassing?
Never, not once, not for 1 minute.
Not for 1 second?
No, wrote me letters of recommendation. We had a great... helped me get a job. I was a news reporter in Jacksonville, Florida at NBC 12, and he helped me land that job. And we just had a really great professional working relationship that he was available and accessible and a mentor. And all of his children I've met throughout the years, and one is kinder and classier than the next. And I just was a huge fan of them.
There's a big spectrum of classiness, and it goes from not that classy to super classy.
I mean, say something bad about their kids, really. I mean, they're all super educated. You don't see them stumbling out of nightclubs. You don't see them with mug shots. You know, you don't see them...
They like and retweet questionable things.
Okay,
like
that's...
conspiracy theories about...
We can talk about... Well, that's at a later time, and I'm happy to go into all that with you, because there are some weird things going on with that. But they're all wonderful human beings as far as my interactions with them, and I just really enjoyed the family. I just really enjoyed my experience, and so it became a personal experience for me, and here I am, you know, eventually taking it from... This all started because I was asked questions on CNN, did he sexually harass you? And the answer was always no. And it grew and grew and snowballed into them starting to ask me political questions.
Well, in his defense, you can't sexually harass 100% of the people you meet. It's very difficult.
Well, he treated me amazingly well.
That's
and
cool.
I was asked all of these questions on national television to the point where then they realized I was capable and I guess in their mind competent So I started, getting asked substantive political questions. And then one thing led to another. And, then the Trump Corporation, we all got back in touch, and I decided to sort of join Team Trump, and here we are.
So, okay, so you were an Obama person, so you believed in democratic ideals.
They've changed, though, but yeah, of course I did.
Okay, and so what is it that you were most disappointed by? You didn't feel like there was hope in Obama's era? What about the fact that we had healthcare reform that was sorely needed for so long?
But it's not working.
But it's working in the fact that it's covering millions more people.
As of right now, only 1/3 of the counties in our country have one choice. Premiums are up by, I think, something like 200% for an individual. And deductibles are skyrocketing. It's just not working. It's a broken system. And I think that, there's if we can get totally into what happened in the 2016 process, but I just think that, Barack Obama was a community organizer, and I think he got to the White House and he kind of got like the secret sauce, and he was like, oh, I didn't know I was getting into this mess.
What do you mean? Like the old claim that they show you the tape of assassinating Kennedy or something?
I don't know. I just feel that I think he was a great orator, but maybe just not the greatest. Like, I was inspired by him. I was excited to have an African-American president and see what that meant for our country. And it kind of meant nothing in my opinion.
He did so many things.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Putting like a lot of weird unmarked bills on an airplane and sending them to Iran. Yeah, I got it.
That was part of the Iran deal.
From what, the 80s, 90s? We owed them that money. And now it's like...
We had frozen their money. We made an agreement with them
to
freeze their nuclear program. And we unfroze the money.
You think that was the right thing to do? Now those people have our money and they're funding terrorism. It's like a fact,
I agree. It's horrific that they're funding terrorism.
So then that's that.
But they were developing a nuclear program that would be a much bigger existential threat to the world. I'm half Israeli. I don't love, by any means, that they're funding terrorism. But if you're going to try to stop the bigger threat of a global nuclear threat entering the state, you have to make some sort of concessions.
I don't think that was the right one. That wasn't the right concession to make. And by the way, I have very strong ties to Israel myself. As I told you, I'm a converted Jew.
Yeah,
so
you're a new Jew.
I am. Well,
welcome on board the gravy train.
Thank you. Well, I went in the mikvah, which is like the final step of conversion.
I don't even know what that is.
The bath, that cleansing sort of. I went in So I'm like hardcore, So I get it. I'm with you on that. Not with her, but I'm with you.
Right. Got it. Yeah, I'm with her was a pretty bad slogan. So
really bad, right?
Stupid. It's pretty stupid. But but do you not think that, and I'm sure you would think that Trump is being obstructed a lot by Democrats, but they're not in the majority in either house of Congress.
Sure.
And so do you not agree that there was a almost never before seen level of obstruction against Obama by the Republican-controlled Congress during his entire time once he lost control?
I think I wasn't as politically involved then. I follow it now to the letter and T and crossing and dotting. So my point of reference is probably not the best, and I'm happy to admit when I don't know something.
Sure.
I do recall Mitch McConnell saying, "Let's make him a one-term president."
Our job is to make him fail.
Listen, but that's basically what the Democrats are doing now to Trump. So it's sort of like tit for tat. Do I think that's a great thing to say to anybody? No. Do I think Chuck Schumer is doing that now to Trump? 100%.
No, he's working with Trump on stuff.
For a second they did, but...
He's working with Trump on a lot of things. He's trying to work with him.
There was a new stat that just came out that said 65% of the American public thinks that the Democrats don't really want a solution to DACA. So that's not a good stat for those people.
That's not the stat that I've seen.
I can pull it up. I got a stack of...
I wrote a whole political manifesto on my Instagram that quoted a stat, I think it was 78% do want a solution to DACA and want to make them permanently allowed to stay here without any problems. 78%.
Well, I think we might be talking about too. Like, I think that they don't believe that the Democrats alone really... A lot of them think that they're pawns. A lot of even the quote-unquote dreamers, if you want to call them that, they even think that they're being used as pawns. You've seen those articles and stats. Well,
maybe these are... I'm assuming you're reading more Republican-leaning things. Maybe that's a study of Republicans. I try to go across the spectrum. I try to go as middle of the road as I can. I watched Hannity last night for an hour of torture.
I love Hannity, obviously, and I love Tucker. Been on both of their shows. When I watch I go to bed early. We talked about this. I'm a very early to bed, early to rise makes a lady wise and less wrinkly.
Not a
No,
phrase.
it's healthy, wealthy, and wise. Have you heard that? Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise.
I don't know.
I think that was Ben Franklin.
I don't ever go to bed early or wake up early, so I
was just going to make a joke about trying to not be wrinkly and cellulite or something.
You look great.
At any rate, when I watch them, I get so fired up and so politically charged, I can't sleep, so I have to stop watching them. But I try to watch everything and read everything because you want to know what everyone is saying.
Yeah. It is important to know what everybody's saying. I do agree. But so, I guess my first question is so you became an official spokesperson for the Trump campaign during the campaign.
Yeah.
And why? And then
I kind of explained that. Well,
no, but how? Were you not bothered by some of the things Donald Trump was saying during this campaign?
I thought he was a breath of fresh air in a broken system, okay? There were all of these people that had never had their voice involved in politics. You would see these people. These are the people that are fighting our wars and paying our taxes that have never voted.
Sure.
Okay? These people, I've been to rallies. I've been all over the country seeing these people that voted for Donald Trump. And let me tell you, if you're not inspired by them and who they are as Americans, there's something wrong with you. I know we live in our beautiful homes in Los Angeles and New York and our penthouses and mansions and gated communities, but there's a lot of people in America out there that were really awakened, alive.
He was woke.
He was woke. That's the thing by all of this. And I saw them and I identified with them and understood what they were talking about. They had never become a part of a political process. They thought that no one was speaking to them. And for the first time ever, Donald Trump was like, I'm here. I'm listening to you. And no matter what he has said or what he has done, someone in their family has probably said worse or done worse. And you know what? At the end of the day, I want this guy fighting for me over her. And that's the bottom friggin' gosh darn line.
For sure. And
that's
cuss
it.
If you want. For sure.
And I try not to because if I start, I won't stop.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
And I spell all my swear words because I have a 5-year-old in the house, you know.
Smart.
Gets weird.
Kid can't spell, huh? So here's the thing, right? So here's the thing. So I totally agree with that. And I keep talking about it on the podcast, Amna Nawaz's ABC News documentary, spending a year in the most Trump county in the country. Mm-hmm. It of course shows that these people that support Donald Trump are not these assholes, are not deplorables, are not people that are all racist. They're
not
people
at all.
That have real problems and financial problems, and they need somebody that's going to speak to them. That I agree Donald Trump spoke to. But the part that to me is far more disqualifying beyond that is that your own immediate financial needs are not as important as the values of our country. And
so it's saying put someone else before yourself.
Like Obama or not, you have to admit the man had great family values, great moral values, and Trump does not have those things. But
that's your opinion.
You don't think...
Look at his children.
You think cheating on all your wives is cool?
70% of what is it, statistics? 70% of marriages involve infidelity. That's not my business. Look at Bill Clinton. Are you cray-cray?
Bill Clinton as well.
Cray, zizzle.
An argument for...
Blue Dress Central.
I'm not making an argument that Bill Clinton's behavior was well either.
Well, there's a couple of statements within that. You said family values first, or putting the needs of the American people before your own. That's not what our country's founded on, is it? We're supposed to put someone else's... I'm not going to put anything before the need of my son or...
justice in the American way. It's not my dinner plate, my wallet.
I don't think that's...
Truth, Trump does not care about. Justice, he doesn't seem to care much about. And the American way...
He cares about... He's done so much for the American people. African-American unemployment's the lowest rate since 1974.
He hasn't enacted financial policies yet that have taken effect. So that's...
90% of American people... Oh, yikes. 90% of American people expect to see a pay raise because of this tax cut. Real things are happening.
Yeah, a temporary pay raise. Why would...
But that's easy to say when we haven't seen it flush out.
But why would a tax cut be put in place and crafted by a billionaire, have permanent tax cuts for rich people and only temporary tax cuts for
There's
poor
so much
people?
in that. Well, first of all, hold on. They're not temporary. But second of all, the top 10% pay something like 70% of our taxes. Why should they be paying? This is not a socialist country. If you follow what goes on in socialist countries, look at Venezuela. That place is falling apart. We are not socialists. People are allowed to make money here. That is the American way. Let people be rich. They shouldn't be poor.
For sure, people should.
But they will pay taxes, but they should have to pay 60% taxes, or else you're going to drain the money from our country, and then we are going to suffer. I don't believe in taxing the rich more. I just don't. That is not the way to grow our economy. Let's create jobs, not by taxing, and this should be a more organic approach. And Trump is a business person, and he understands how to grow the economy, not like a community organizer.
Because
AKA
as
Obama.
compared to Trump's wonderful political history that trumps Obama's. Obama was a senator. That before that,
but
was
you're
a state
talking about
senator.
Rank and file stuff.
Before that, was
I don't care.
Community organizer, always caring about the people and trying to help.
That's his problem.
Communities.
So you're
Why
saying
is it a problem to build communities?
Quote unquote, joking. I don't think that. I'm glad that again, back to my point about the breath of fresh air in a broken system. The American people didn't want a politician. They're fed.
That's great.
Up. So you're talking about
his non-politicians that don't have racist tendencies.
But I don't. He is not a racist. That's like the lowest hanging fruit. What people try to say when they don't have anything else to say. It bothers me.
So then explain.
It bothers
his own words. Explain why the president, who is supposed to be an intelligent person,
which he is. He went to Penn. I mean, he has an Ivy League education. You know?
So why would somebody who's smart and is not racist?
He's not a racist.
After a horrific murder at a white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, why would you come out?
So what he said was there were some good people.
There are plenty of fine people on both sides. On both sides.
Truthfully, I think that's crummy.
There are no good people on their side.
I don't know. I mean, that's a crummy thing to say, and it's a crappy thing to say. I think at that time there was still a lot of Bannon influence going on, and I think that was a crappy time and a really misplaced statement. And I'm not a 100% defender of anything that anyone does, not even my child or my husband or myself for that matter. We all screw up. And I think that was a really misplaced, crappy thing to do. And to be honest, a lot of Jewish people support President Trump, and it was a lot of anti-Semitic things going on there, and that's
right.
Ain't so cool. But
when you're smart,
and
you're aware of the uproar, and you're aware of the uproar of previous things you've said have a problem. You're aware that your campaign was launched and what was at least accused towards him of being a racist launch by saying Mexicans are rapists and by saying Mexican judge can't be partial. Which he just proved this week, Curiel, that he is partial.
Well, wait, that's not true. That's not true at all.
He decided in favor of Trump's wall this week.
But Curiel, there was the law firm he used to work with gave a lot of money to Hillary. Like, if you dig a little deeper, there were some weird things going there. But you're absolutely right on that.
He said he couldn't be impartial because
he's a Mexican. That
was his words.
Not the smartest way of doing things.
So when you say that and you're supposed to be a smart person, then especially when a white nationalist rally comes out,
not great.
Unless you're trying to keep those votes and keep that base, which if he's not pandering to them, it just makes no intelligent sense to say that and then stick by it for days and then be forced finally to come out with a pre-written statement and say, of course, racists are bad.
The reason, of course, I agree.
It's a major problem.
Well, the reason why he was elected and the reason why he tweets is the American people wanted an authentic human. They didn't want a Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto politician. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why they put him in the position that he is, which is in the White House, is because they wanted that, like, this dude just says what's on his mind and speaks off the cuff. Was that stuff appropriate? I just don't, I have a hard time wrapping my mind around that, and I don't think it's acceptable. However, having said all of that, this is what the American people wanted, and I understand why.
Sure, but...
And that's that, in my opinion.
But you have to be able to, I think, put priorities in place and put an order to what's important. So
you would say, one would say, but everyone isn't.
But so not even just taking away, you're saying you shouldn't have to sacrifice your own self and your own family. And I do to some degree agree with that, of course. Like,
I'm not
if I was in dire need of money, I wouldn't be caring about necessarily family values or if somebody had an affair if I need food on the table.
Right. Like, would you donate a kidney for your own child, but would you go donate a kidney for a stranger? I'm not so sure.
I've donated a lot of kidneys. A lot of my kidneys have been donated.
Well, you only have 2.
No, I haven't gotten extra. I get them reimplanted and I give them away again. It's a program I do. It's a kidney recycle. Thank you.
It's really kind.
Thanks so much.
It's going to get you straight into those pearly gates of heaven. But we don't believe in that.
You made pearly gates sound real sexy the way you said that.
Yeah, try.
That was well done.
Thank you.
So there's that issue. But then to me, there's the even bigger systemic issue. And to me, the reason that I am not afraid to say that I think Trump is guilty of treason, so we're on definitely very opposite sides of this
banana.
Well, it's not banana pancakes. Let me explain why. Because what's the definition of treason? Is giving aid and comfort to foreign enemies or adversaries at the sake of our own country. And Trump does it every day with Russia by not ever saying what the consensus of fact is of our intelligence agencies.
I will bet you
I'm not talking about collusion. Maybe there's not collusion. There hasn't been proof yet of collusion.
There's not.
But the president's job in his oath of office is to protect us to foreign adversaries, against foreign adversaries. He refuses to acknowledge the truth of them interfering in our elections.
Right.
Not saying he collaborated with them, but the fact that he refuses to say what are facts as compiled by all of our intelligence agencies.
I don't even know what those facts are. Like,
and
I don't
doesn't even institute sanctions. First president that's ever done this does not institute sanctions voted on by 90% of Congress
against
to punish Russia. Why would he not be instituting?
Well, I mean, what are our sanctions for?
To punish Russia and these very well-off Russian nationals and people connected to the Kremlin.
Well, weren't 13 people just, he just...
that was Mueller that indicted
Well, that's
them.
his job.
Right, and Trump's job
no
is
one cares.
to
That's fine.
institute the sanctions that our Congress voted on.
Let him do his job, and even Sarah Huckabee Sanders said in the last, the press secretary, even in the last 8 years under Obama, all there was talk with North Korea and talk, let's let this...
tons of sanctions.
Let's let this flesh out a little bit. And by the way, I'm just reading off of the note I got from the White House today at 4:15 p.m., so that's only a few hours ago. Proof of foreign money. Bernie Sanders campaign, $14,500 fined to Bernie Sanders for accepting assistance from the Russian labor... I'm sorry, strike that. Let me start over. Bernie Sanders' campaign was fined $14,500 for accepting assistance from the Australian Labor Party. So if we're going to start yelling at people for accepting assistance and doing all this, let's...
What's wrong with taking money from Australia? They're an ally of ours.
But it was not acceptable. He's fined for it, though.
Ally and adversary.
That's fair, but I still think this was not disclosed. This was actually could be worse.
And he was fined and punished, and Bernie Sanders did not win the election.
But Mueller, this whole Mueller thing, like you're dragging people, parading them around. How long? Like today, I'm not sure if you know, Hope Hicks, resigned, and I personally know her. I personally know Hope.
Yeah. And
I think what?
I personally know Hope could be the slogan before the Trump administration. I personally know Hope. Sorry.
No, I just think that this is kind of crazy. And, I don't think she resigned because of this. I think Hope Hicks is a gorgeous 29-year-old woman that came to the Trump family via the Ivanka brands, okay? She is a great girl from Connecticut. She's brilliant. She's lovely. I don't think she ever saw herself. This was sort of one of those things like life and truth is stranger than fiction. And that family, whether you like them or hate them or indifferent, they're loyalist. So she was in good with Ivanka, therefore,
right,
became
and resigned today.
Hold on, I'm just going through the whole thing. I think if you look at it from purpose, the only quote you could say, let's step away from the headlines. Sure, admittedly, she said, "I tell white lies." I tell white lies to anyone. If I don't want to go to dinner with someone, I don't want to hurt their feelings. I'm going to say, "I have a bellyache tonight." That's a white lie, but I'd rather say that than B word, "I love you, but I'm not having dinner with your nagging ass tonight." You know what I mean? Like, I don't think those are bad things to say sometimes. Or
B word.
B-I-T-C-H.
Oh, I thought there's some friend of yours.
I don't think that this is a white lie that every agent in Hollywood tells. Hi, I'm calling for Ben Gleib. Who is this? It's ERIN ELMORE. He's in a meeting right now. Meanwhile, you're just on the toilet or playing Jenga in your office. That's a white lie.
Okay.
But your assistant and your gatekeeper does the same thing for you. That's not treason. I'm
not calling her treasonous.
But I'm saying she's being lambasted for saying she has told a white lie, whereas
many white lies have had to tell.
Who gives a shh?
Okay.
Anyway, let me just get behind the headlines. Yeah. So my point is this amazingly smart and talented 29-year-old girl came to this family via the Ivanka brands, which is a lovely, fun, lighthearted line of products, and became involved with something a lot deeper and wild. And she has now found herself in this crazy world and probably thinks, I'm sitting here testifying before the House Intel Committee. I don't need to live my life like this. You're right. I'm going to resign. And he wrote her, there was no contention there. He wrote her a nice statement. She made a nice statement. I think she just realized, why am I doing this?
But does it not bother you at all or seem strange at all about the judgment of our president, whether shady or at least judgment-wise, that an unprecedented number of people during the first year are resigning, being fired, dropping like flies? People he chose for huge positions or pleading guilty for things. Michael Flynn, National Security Advisor, lying about contact with the Russians.
How would he have known that? That was one of those things that President Trump had nothing. It was basically...
You should have the judgment to put people in charge of our nation and our ideals and our future
who, maybe
that know what they're doing.
Like a meeting on a Loretta Lynch. A meeting on a tarmac.
Loretta Lynch was fine until she had a meeting on the tarmac with a former president.
You know what
that
I'm
was
saying?
shady.
It's the same kind of stuff. I think that this...
But how many people resigned from the Obama administration in scandal?
Because it was over.
In 1 year, Trump's lost so many people.
But the difference is that...
That doesn't seem to you unstable as a government?
I don't care.
You don't care if our government's unstable?
I don't find our government to be unstable. This is how President Trump conducts business. People do not want the career politicians that handle Washington the same way, the swamp that they have for the last.
But if he wanted to drain the swamp, then why is he putting in place?
These aren't swampers. Linda McMahon is not a swampy.
But he's putting people in his administration that are higher ups at Goldman Sachs, that are higher ups.
Great, that's not the swamp to me. Those people have worked and had jobs. They know how to live their life and do something.
Stormy Daniels had a job, okay? Just for the record.
Oh, well, nothing's on the record with that, but
it's also now it is because Trump's lawyer even's like, yes, I paid her hush money. Fine.
Well, that's all still a little suspect.
Okay, believe me, no one is making up that they had sex with Donald Trump. No one's trying to claim that mantle. If it's not,
you
true.
Never know.
Man, he's a strange-looking man. Can we at least admit that? He's a strange, orange-looking man with white eyelids and a hair that has never been seen before in human history.
He told us about his hair.
Which is?
He would say it was he said that it was good luck at this point, and he didn't want to cut it. This was back in the Apprentice days. He was like, I'm not cutting it. It's good luck. This look is my look. I'm going to stick with it. He was very light about it. And did you see the other day he had a press conference? He's like, ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing everything to hide this bald spot. So he's got those little moments that are
cute.
Yeah, so cute.
That's cute. But okay, so
you can say, but we're talking about looks, whatever. But some people say I'm sorry, strike that Bill Clinton, he just comes in the room and he's just a panty dropper.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never met him.
Oh, I met him one time. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I need to. But I think now he's getting a little, God bless him, a little older.
Monica Lewinsky just kind of is now throwing him under the bus this week, though. She just said that because the Me Too movement, it's the first time that she's considering that maybe she wasn't, even though she gave consent, she wasn't maybe able to give consent because of the power dynamic. It is a pretty big power dynamic. Intern, president of the world.
I know her through friends.
I know her in touch.
Yeah, through friends, and she's always been lovely to me.
Nice person.
I can't speak on that at all. I mean, only the two parties that were privy to that can say it, but there are issues with the Me Too movement too, though.
Two people, one cigar, one secret.
That is such a weird thing. I mean, people are into so many things.
Done this? I know. People are into some weird things.
I'm down for whatever you're I don't mean I support. How's this? I support whatever someone's interested in. You know, you do you, sister.
I'm just hoping the cigar was still wrapped in plastic. Otherwise,
that's even worse. I think.
Otherwise it's going to get wet and break off in there.
Oy.
It's going to have to be wrapped in plastic.
Oh my God, I'm going to need another beer for this one.
We got a whole mini bar to your right. Please help yourself.
But she's a lovely person.
It's only $40 a beer. Help yourself.
Thanks, Game Show Network.
You're very welcome. I'm pretty sure I'm paying for the mini bar, but it's fine.
I'll reimburse.
Credit card for incidentals. It's all good.
Venmo you.
You're my guest. You've been so kind. So okay.
Okay.
But so back
we
to
digress.
And we're about to go into a bunch of stories, but just my last big point about.
Okay, go ahead, and then we should talk about this Me Too nonsense.
It's so predictable, the positions of people who support Donald Trump.
Or Obama.
I think they're overreaching parts of it.
Do you understand? I worked in a law firm and in legal services for 7 years. You, as a woman in my early 20s, you don't think #Me Too, #Me every mother and day, okay?
So then why are you against it?
Because, go ahead, finish your thought. I don't need to railroad you.
I don't know why you said railroad like that, but I liked it.
I don't know,
you became a railroad train in that moment.
Well, I take the
railroad.
I take the Amtrak a lot.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
You and Joe Biden are hanging out in that Amtrak.
I've actually met him. Can I say this though? Yeah. I know his family. I like Joe Biden too. When I met him, of course, a long time ago when I was not political, and I met him in the owner's box of the Super Bowl winning Philadelphia Eagles, no big deal. My team.
Loved that, by the way.
In the box, the owner's box. And he was in there, and I said, can I take a picture with you? And I think just like you said about your favorite crush, we have to tell that story, I feel like.
Natalie Portman, yeah.
So I see him, and I put my arm around him for a picture, and I think I'm going to say something political or profound or smart or intellectual. And he has on this blue cashmere sweater, and it just looks amazing. And I touch it, and I'm like, ooh, your sweater is so soft. Who says that to the Vice President of the United States? I have 7 years of higher education.
You said that.
I'm not an uneducated woman.
He probably liked it.
I just
cashmere is very soft to the touch. There's no arguing that.
Yeah,
I don't blame you for that.
I felt like a dummy.
That's okay. He forgives you. He probably liked it.
Yeah.
He's such a friendly man. I'm surprised
he is. And his wife, Jill, is amazing, too. His wife.
Yeah. It's a beautiful family. So I don't know, I've never met them. But
you would like them.
I would?
Yeah, they're nice.
So, okay, so my last point about Trump, and the biggest point about Trump, besides Russia.
Big league.
I think. Big league point about Donald Trump, okay? Listen, my hair, okay, it's a golden brown, it's like a bucket of chicken. It's been lucky for me. I don't change it. I won't change it.
I don't know if he's just like a bucket of chicken.
His hair is like a bucket of chicken. His stomach is like the family pack.
I don't want my stomach to be like the family pack.
No, who does? Okay, so the biggest problem to me is that the president's job is maintaining a semblance of order and making us feel like our country's going well and making us feel safe. And the fact that he uses, just to disprove attacks on himself, this concept of not just fake news, but calling into question everything, calling into question the concept of facts. We don't even have a sense of facts anymore, thanks to Trump. We're in this, what people call post-truth era, where he does not believe our intelligence agencies, even though they...
Do you? After with the DOJ,
when they all in a consensus decide that something has happened, you have to believe them. That's the very basis of our nation. That's how we know what truth is. When he does not believe in our courts and says they're activist courts, when he does not believe in our elections, and he says we have rigged elections.
Everything.
There was 3 million wrong votes based on nothing, just because he wanted to say that back when he thought he was going to lose. But then
good, you can investigate it and find out. We live in an era where fact-finding is not that friggin' difficult.
It is when he then tweets lies every day. He tweets lies every day.
Then CNN can go on the record and disprove him, because they would love nothing more.
Fox News can go on the record to their base and just make up responses.
So Fox is the one that's making up the responses. Let me ask you this, dear, whose viewership is down.
Yes, because when you feed red meat of gossip to people not based on facts, of course your ratings are going to go up.
No.
I don't think that CNN is impartial. I think they're pretty anti-Trump. But I think they don't make things up. And I think Fox makes stuff up.
I can't disagree with you more. I was on, I cannot remember the exact topic, but I was on perhaps 2 months ago in the lower third, which to the people watching and listening out there is like the what do you call it? The banner across the bottom about the topic that I was about to talk about. The banner that was across there was legit not the truth. Okay, I wish I could pull my.
But you don't know what it was.
This was a couple months ago, and we're talking off the cuff here. Sure. I will go afterwards and pull my tapes and tell you what.
I'll report it on the podcast next week.
I'm happy to do it, but like I was sitting there saying to myself, "What you are just saying is not true." It's a part of. It was just so upsetting to me. Just as I don't know. They just. I think that there's a lot of untruth. I don't think that they're always telling the truth. I do not.
Think the fact that whenever there's a scandal or an accusation towards Trump and his administration, that people like Hannity and shows like that, they literally just start talking again about Hillary, start talking about uranium ones, she's not president. She didn't win.
Clearly.
To not ever acknowledge...
And she never will.
To not ever acknowledge the current issues affecting our president because ideologically you want to support this administration, that makes you not news anymore.
I don't see it that way. I don't know. I don't see that that's what's happening, but I do feel that it is very politically charged. I do not feel that news is unbiased. You can't watch a Walter Cronkite anymore and just sort of get facts. There are no facts. There's so much bias.
That's the problem of what Trump has created. Or has encouraged, he's fed into it and made it so much worse. He didn't create it, but he's fed into it and made it so much worse. He calls facts not facts.
But that they're easy to dispute. There is a lot of fake news.
There is some, yes.
I believe
but
it.
He only does it when it affects him. He only says it when it affects him. He doesn't have a correction record. Okay, that one actually was true. He just only wants to spin a narrative and talk to his base more than he wants to be the president of the entire nation.
Well, the difference is the base is always his base. No matter what he does, will be with him.
Right. So why does he need to keep feeding them? He doesn't have to do that, but he still does.
Nah.
He still does.
I don't think that that's what's going on.
The only thing I'll give him some credit this week, I think he's finally really doing some more bold steps to see if he sticks to it and make something happen with gun control. Today he said to Toomey and Manchin, you guys are afraid of the NRA. That's interesting for Trump to say.
I mean, gun control, geez.
So you remember the NRA?
I am. My husband, we don't fight, okay? I can't believe, he's like, you joined the NRA behind my back.
Why'd you join the NRA?
Because I support I'm, as a lawyer and as a scholar, I shouldn't call myself a scholar because I'm not. But
Probably not. Probably shouldn't call myself a scholar, yeah.
No, as a lover of the Constitution and as a lover of being a law student and passing the bar and going through that really hard time in my life and working my backside off to like no other level. I just love the Constitution, and that's corny. And do I know it like the back of my hand? No. But I love the foundations of our principles of our country.
Me too.
And I love the fact that...
I didn't mean to say me too. You understand the point?
Hashtag.
Me also.
Yes. And I think that the Second Amendment means what it says and says what it means. And I think that we are allowed to have guns within reason.
Within reason. But that's what the NRA does not agree with.
Well, okay, so let's go through it step by step.
Please.
Raising the age to 21.
Why not? You can't rent a car until you're 25.
You can join the goddamn military at 18.
That's another issue. That probably should be raised too, but...
Fine. Okay, then that's the answer.
People are saying you're not an adult yet at 18, then you probably shouldn't also be tasked with life and death decisions.
But then I guess because you're going, I guess the reason why that
they lowered it just because they needed more soldiers.
Or well, when you're 18, you're going to college, so these kids have to make a decision: do I go to college or do I get a job? Well, at least I can go to the military. So
and maybe die and fight and make life and death decisions. Probably too early, but that doesn't justify other bad decisions.
But like I'm saying that I think it's almost disrespectful to our troops and to the people in the military to say you're going to be able to carry a gun in Iraq when you might get your ass blown off.
If our nation needs defense, then you can justify people that are younger need to be able to do it.
My point, it's more of a conversation. I don't have an answer on this.
But what's the harm? If you can't rent a car till 25,
no harm.
Why should you buy an assault rifle at 18?
No harm.
So you would agree with that?
Sure, fine, go right ahead. Fine.
But the NRA is against it.
That's fine.
You don't have to agree with everything the member.
I don't agree with anything anyone says. Like I'm not a puppet. Sure, fine, whatever.
But they support, I guess, to some small degree in strengthening background checks. So that's good.
But here's the problem with that. I agree. However, look what just happened. The mass shooting where 26 people were killed outside of San Antonio at the First Baptist Church, right? That guy was in the military. I believe it was the Air Force. He had a criminal conviction for domestic violence. The Air Force failed to report it, which would have prohibited him from getting a gun. He then, so basically the timeline was, he committed a crime, got a gun, killed people.
Right.
That was a failure in reporting, which is a civil crime, a civil lawsuit, if not a criminal offense. So how do we assure the American people that these background checks are going to work? Because I can't even go to the post office, which is government run, and guarantee the package is going to get to my grandma by Friday.
I mean, packages get there pretty good.
But no, actually, I think the post office kind of is the worst place on earth.
Really? I think they're fine.
Go FedEx, though.
They've never failed me. No FedEx.
Go FedEx.
No
I'm switching all my stuff to FedEx.
Because they are one of the few companies not abandoning the NRA?
Please. It's free speech.
Free speech. Okay, but they're putting an undue influence on our politics. They're putting millions of dollars every year.
Free speech.
No, it's not free speech. Corporations
you don't believe in lobbying?
Are not people, my friend, the way Mitt Romney said it when he was running for president.
Well, super PACs think so.
Yeah, but Citizens United should be overturned. Corporations are not people.
I don't disagree with you on that.
They're companies. They're not people. They shouldn't have we don't protect in our Constitution the right for free speech.
Who's advertising on television?
Inanimate objects.
Who's advertising on television? McDonald's, Pepsi, Budweiser. Those aren't people. That's the way this goes.
On television. They're not lobbying congressmen.
Everyone's lobbying Congress. Pro-gun, anti-gun, everybody.
Yeah, but they're not giving them public ratings and making them beholden to vote. Who cares? People are dying.
Not because of Fed friggin' X.
People are dying because of the NRA.
Then someone should start funding UPS and have them have their lobbies do the same damn thing. Because what's good for the goose, good for the gander.
But UPS is not an anti-gun organization. They can make they can make a decision to not.
So I see nothing with it. I see no problem with it.
Why is profit? Why to Republicans is profit the only thing?
It's not. You are not. Who are you to control how I make my money?
No one's saying that.
Like, don't tell me how to make my money.
But an organization like the NRA, why can't they say, we believe the Second Amendment should be upheld, we believe people should have access to guns, and we also don't think every single gun invented needs to be sold to every single person that wants one, and we can also put some restrictions. Even Dana Loesch said that. They even believe that. They said that the guy in Florida shouldn't have had a gun, and that's like Dana Loesch said that at I think it was either at the CNN town hall or at CPAC. That the guy in Florida at... The gentleman, I won't even use his name, in Florida. Not a gentleman, he's a piece of garbage. At this school. In Florida. She said he should... I believe it was on the CNN town hall. She said he shouldn't have had a gun. Well, of course you're going to say killers shouldn't have guns. They're saying they're not handing out guns... Is the NRA's position... Pardon me, they're not handing out guns on Halloween like Halloween candy. They are almost doing that. Disagreed. They are in favor of anybody getting a gun that wants a gun. That's not true. Yeah, basically. They believe in guidelines. Very few. They don't want to restrict anything that could inhibit gun makers' profit. It's not about
that's
the
not
Second
necessarily
Amendment.
true.
It's about gun maker profits.
See, I think it's more about the second. I personally, maybe it's a little idealistic, think that it is about the Second Amendment.
But, okay, so the Constitution, I talk about this in my stand-up back too, but the Constitution, as also Jim Jeffries has been pointed out to me, makes a similar point. It's a beautiful document. But it's been amended 30 times.
My husband agrees with this too.
The Second Amendment is an amendment.
He's like, it's old, it's 200 years. I get it.
And it's an amendment. They changed it to put guns in there. So it obviously could be changed. We have it there. I believe in the Second Amendment. I don't think we should change. We should get rid of it. But all it says was written in the 1700s, the right uninfringed to bear arms those arms were muskets and single load bearing guns.
That's not necessarily true because there were
Dana Loesch said that in the NRA town hall.
There were guns that were made in like 18...
semi-automatic guns.
Correct.
That there's a video on Twitter I saw. You can look it up on YouTube. It shows how fast they'll shoot. It's still one every 30 seconds.
But it was still
it's one
for that.
30 seconds.
There wasn't even freaking electricity then, so it was a semi-automatic gun for like 18.
But it's
whatever.
not about the word semi-automatic. It's about how fast can people be killed by this gun. And back then, the fastest was one every 30 seconds. And
all right, so that's somebody. So this is the conversation also. AR-47s, whatever. AR-17s, excuse me. I know. I'm just I'm thinking of Colt 45. I don't know. I'm getting excited.
We're drinking. I get it. Let's go shooting after this.
That's not a great idea. You shoot and then you drink.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not like a huge...
I like shooting guns too.
It's scary a little bit. It's loud.
If the NRA became more reasonable, I would join the NRA. I'd defend the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
So, do you not agree that the NRA and our country as a whole should support the idea that regular citizens, not people in the military, should not have weapons of mass murder? It's just simple.
It's just
There's still tons of guns.
Where do you draw the line? Well, during
Easy. How about draw the line at the amount of bullets coming out fast at assault rifles and high capacity?
Well, those assault rifles. Bump stock's fine. Get rid of them. Assault rifles is a word. It's a made up word. That was like
I get it. I'm saying anything defined like that. Anything that can shoot
a shooting rifle or whatever.
Anything that can shoot very, very fast in rapid succession. And high capacity magazines that can kill lots of people at once.
Certainly not my pet issue. I mean,
so
I don't have one.
Do you agree that as a member of the NRA, would you tell them, I think you guys can support stronger gun control and still have your members be supported?
It has to work, though. If I think they would support it if it were definitely going to work.
But you never know if something's definitely
And by the way, the
work
Virginia Tech shooter didn't use one of those. He used a pistol.
Okay, so you're not going to stop every killing just because somebody once died of hanging doesn't mean you shouldn't ever ban guns or ban certain kinds of guns because rope could also kill somebody.
Well, people are using cars, and you've seen
of course,
horrible.
But cars' main purpose is not to kill.
Certainly,
and
but
guns are.
Well, yeah,
they are.
It's just a very hard, and
but it's not so hard. That's what I think people on the left, and myself included, being more left-leaning, don't understand is that it's not so hard. What's so hard about our country coming together in the face of tragedy?
No one's coming together
over and over, right? Because of these forces not saying it. So what's so hard about...
Even the Democrats now are putting these kids on television, and the polling is already showing like that's not the move right now to put these kids on television.
What polling? Everybody loves these kids. They're amazing.
Hold on. The point is that don't put them on TV to be like, right now we should just be mourning and saying like...
No, that's what the right always says. Now's not the time for action. It's only thoughts and prayers.
You're using these kids as pawns.
No, they're doing it themselves. The victims themselves are saying no more thoughts and prayers. Now is the time for action. I just read an article a few minutes ago that said they specifically are saying... Don't tell us that...
Wait, so a 17-year-old should have an opinion on gun control, but they're not allowed to have a gun?
Of course they can have an opinion.
Insane.
When you're the victim of a shooting, you shouldn't have an opinion about it?
Well, this is what Ann Coulter said.
If you don't think somebody can have an opinion,
I understand what you're saying. Agreed.
But
Ann Coulter had a good point about that, and this is, tell me if you agree or disagree, on that CNN rally. She said, you don't put 17-year-old kids who are just a victim of a mass shooting on television and expect to defend yourself against them because there is no defense. They went through something so horrifying that there's nothing you can say to them. So let's talk politician to politician or pundit to pundit. But you shouldn't put like a Dana Loesch or like a Wayne LaPierre or like a pundit like you or me or whomever next to these kids because those kids do not deserve to be taken on in any way. You want to take them on in any way.
Everything that Ann Coulter says.
That's effing insane to say that you should take these kids on.
Marco Rubio did it and did it in a pretty polite way and a pretty respectful way. Dana Loesch sort of did that too.
She was great. Oh, but then what about our sheriff friend that tried to take her on? Good job on his sheriff's office. That guy's going to be out of a job in 6 weeks. I thought
he was pretty ridiculous during the town hall too, saying we got to redesign schools. We're not going to rebuild schools right now. That's not the most pertinent and timely issue. maybe I look. That's why I don't get it. It's all of these tiers. We should have had a better reporting system. This kid should have been put on a list. Shouldn't have been allowed to buy a gun. But also, we can, as a country, come together, and the NRA could say, you know what? Yes, there's been too many mass shootings. We love guns. We love the Constitution. We love the Second Amendment. Yeah. We will never ever allow. I promise all of our members in our entire country, we will never allow our guns to be taken away. But we do agree, in light of how things have unfolded in our country, we can agree that we can ban weapons of mass murder from innocent citizens' hands. You don't need it for hunting or protection or protect from the government, so there's no purpose. It's just to sell guns at that point.
The NRA isn't in control here, and Trump already is more on your side than the side of the...
No,
right? By whom?
The NRA is in control.
Trump has already gone against them.
A veto vote in Congress, so we'll see how it shakes out.
No, he already said 21, and that's not what the NRA agrees with. He's like, he even said sometimes you got to take him on.
That's because he's this...
He's not in bed with them.
But all of Congress is. Most Republicans in Congress are.
You know what? Just as anyone...
So we'll see if they vote for what Trump says, because that would be amazing.
A lot of people can be bought and sold on both sides, and the Democrats have been bought and sold, okay?
To what interest?
Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation received so much money from countries that were anti-women's rights, like Qatar, Oman, Saudi Arabia. When she would be preaching...
But the Clinton Foundation's goal was to help people.
But that's not what was happening.
It was.
This money was all funneled to her and her campaign. She was supported to tunes of millions and millions of dollars by Qatar, Oman, Saudi Arabia, where women can't even drive. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of... There's money funneling to everyone, and maybe that's the issue. As our friend Jennifer Lawrence, who said she's going to take a year off acting to fix our political system. Everyone's getting money from someone that they shouldn't be. So then you know what? If your interest is stronger than the NRA, then build your money and raise your money and take them on. Go right ahead.
Well, for sure.
Take them on. The NRA didn't get funded by some, act of God. They didn't. Their money didn't come off a tree. But
you're a lawyer. You have a great rational mind. If everybody's getting money, there's still then the issue of what that money is going towards. And on one side, the money's going towards helping people and benevolent causes, and on the other side, the money's going towards killing people.
Saudi Arabia's money was for speeches that were given, and meanwhile, it was funneling. It wasn't for helping people.
But it's going to the foundation, which
is a
people.
Ruse.
It's not a ruse. It helped tons of people.
What? Get Democrats elected?
I
know who it helped. It helped Hillary. It helped Chelsea Clinton pay her bills.
No, it didn't. It did not. Hillary didn't even win. But it's about the cause behind it. It's about whether the money's going towards a more peaceful,
that was just one example. I have 90
cohesive world or not.
I have 90 million examples of there's money coming to and from on both sides.
But you agree, as a member of the NRA could, if the nation's opinion so congealed around stronger gun control, you agree that they could say to their members, we will always protect your right to own a gun, but at the same time, we believe we can ban certain things, and they would not lose their membership or piss them off too bad. As a member, would you tell the NRA, I'm okay with you guys supporting more gun control if that's where the country and the debate goes?
I mean, sure, if it would work, and just to make sure that it would work.
But you can't make sure. You have to try.
Well, I said, absolutely. But I think that the issue, like I said, about the Texas shooting is that was a failure to report.
We need to fix that too. We got to fix it.
A lot of failures.
Complete background check with complete criminal and mental health involvement, and cross check of all of our systems. It's insane we don't have that. Yeah. I think we should look at also probably banning extremely violent video games. That's not a liberal position.
Oh my God. No, certainly
but it's insane that when I was a kid, I played Super Mario Brothers, and I would just jump on a turtle.
Oh my God,
and
I
then
love that.
Now, literally, you can see in graphic, real-life video, you can, rape prostitutes and murder people with guns.
What is that one called?
It makes you violent a little bit.
Vice or something? Vice City or something?
Yeah, all that stuff.
I heard that there's
World of Warcraft and Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, and all that stuff.
Oh my God, I'm terrified.
So that's no good.
I'm terrified.
But we all need to give a little bit. But we need to agree our goal needs to be just to reduce killings whatever way we can, every way we can.
Look, I don't think we're that far off on that many things here, I think...
But it's lobbies that refuse to budge. As people, we're not. 90% of the country wants more background checks. 65% or so, 60% think we can ban assault rifles. It's not a problem. But the NRA says no.
Look, most people fall somewhere in the middle, whether it's little to the left, a little to the right.
Totally.
I think those fringe groups are necessary to sort of keep everyone saying, whoa. And the pendulum swings back and forth, and we see what's going on, and it all kind of flushes itself out, because at the end of the day, whether you are happy right now or going to be happy in 8 years or 15 years or 20 years, and The Democratic Party may or may not be back in.
I think now would be better than 15, 20 years.
So who do you think's going to run in
I was going to ask you that. Somebody wanted to ask
on
you,
your
who
side?
do you think is going to run in 2020?
You know, we need someone that has a family, that doesn't have a family history in politics and always supports women. So let's pick a Kennedy.
Are you Republican for life now? Or could you see yourself going back?
I don't know. We'll see. Well, my values just have changed. I believe that we should pick ourselves up by the bootstraps, work really hard, make our way. I believe in the American dream. I think that a lot of Democrats, there are a lot of individuals of lower socioeconomic statuses that these Democrats help enough, but not enough to live in their neighborhood. Give them enough handouts and a free cell phone, but not enough to really get a better job. And the other problem, Democrats sometimes can't see the forest for the trees. Like in terms of like the illegal immigration issue on a small level, it's impacting African American males the most. So 6, I believe, out of 10 African American males don't have more than a high school diploma, if not less. And they have a hard time accessing entry-level jobs. And the people that are taking those jobs oftentimes are illegal immigrants. And so when you can't get the entry-level jobs, you can't get the jobs and you can't progress. And these people are driving the wages down. So at the one side, they say, hey, let's help these people on a path to citizenship or whatever. But at the same time, they're hurting their own community. So I think that sometimes it's like they can't see the forest for the trees. So I don't know. I think that there has to be like more macro than micro. And I don't know. There are so many problems that you can think about it all night and all day. And
I mean, I agree completely.
so I don't know the answer.
Well, I agree completely with solidifying our border, enforcing our border. Well, our country should have borders. Trump's right when he says that.
Yeah.
But I also think people that have been able to come here through desperation to, like you said, it's most important to take care of your own family.
Sure.
And so those people didn't come here because they wanted to break our laws. They came here because they were desperate.
But if you're desperate, come here and work and get a job. Like, don't live in a tent in the middle of the street.
So they do that. So I think
in Paris, there's like tent cities and like
our only goal should always be just to find common middle grounds that make everybody happy. So I say you enforce your border as much as we can.
Sure.
And at the same time, I think any person with a heart can agree if you were brought here as a child and didn't break a law consciously on your own volition and your whole life is as an
Trump
American.
believes in a path to citizenship for those people.
After he ended DACA and given
But it was unconstitutional.
Deadline, it was allowed to continue, though.
But it is continuing. He sat down with
find that permanent fix, and if so, then you would
March 5th. Let's do it. He said, let's do it. He sat down with everyone. Let's do it.
5 days left.
True story. Friday's the 2nd. Let's do it. But I think, what was the statistic I just read today? 65% of polled individuals believe that the quote-unquote dreamers should have a path to citizenship in exchange for merit-based immigration and an end-of-chain migration.
I'm fine with merit-based immigration.
Like a visa lottery is nuts.
A lottery, I agree, should not be the case.
No.
I don't think chain migration should end because I think
nuclear family migration is enough. You don't need like Tracy's sister's baby cousin coming here.
Okay, but grandparents should be able to come.
But
under Melania Trump, our first lady's parents came here through a system like that.
Well,
they wouldn't be allowed here under Trump's plan.
Most laws in the United States, like even like parental rights, as studied from my time as an attorney, and I did a lot of volunteer work with child advocacy, but grandparents don't have a lot of rights under most states' laws in our country, so neither here nor there. But yeah, sure, whatever. But like, fine. Okay, so then you want to end it at grandparents? Like cousins? Like, say you want nuclear family and grandparents? Okay.
Sure.
Fine.
Maybe brothers, sisters too.
No, that's it.
Then
just grandparents. Good. Maternal or paternal?
I am losing, I think both sides. I'm losing my battery on my laptop because I didn't.
Jesus, Gleib.
I'm going to email you right now the file with the thing, so in case it dies, I can look at it on your phone.
What file? I'm
just
scared.
all the topics. Cause
okay, no problem.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to send this to you right now. And
okay.
Info. Okay, and it has been sent. And what time is that? I want to cut that out. It's 54. Okay. So, I mean, as I imagined, I probably didn't need to prep for so long because I imagined what happened. We would just get off on a million topics. So,
of course.
As we did, and I like it. I just sent it to you, by the way. So, tell me your criticism of the Me Too movement, and then we'll move on to a couple of these pre-planned things, and then we will wrap this puppy up.
Oh my gosh, so fun. Well, first of all, I think it started in sort of Hollywood, which is, God, I hate Hollywood.
You hate Hollywood?
Vom City.
You don't like the content that Hollywood makes, that we make for you?
Do you think I haven't watched a movie, like, I watch kids' movies because of my...
You watch cartoons and kids' movies.
I'll be fine without them. We'll survive. Well, okay, I do like
what do you hate about Hollywood?
large...
I can watch the Oscars on Sunday?
I'm at a fundraiser for someone that actually lost everything that they own in a fire. So I'm actually raising money for people that matter.
Be a good movie.
Yeah, no. So no, I would rather watch
What's your problem?
a homeless woman get an OBGYN exam in Central Park.
I'm interested as well. Let's go watch that as soon as we're done with this podcast.
Yes. So I don't like people that because they, let's say sports or acting or what, because you are good at dribbling a basketball or because you are good at taking your clothes off and pretending to cry on camera and get a trophy for it, it doesn't mean you are well equipped nor educated enough to comment on something like our political system or contribute to it. And you have the ear of certain people and you think that you are erudite enough to understand, and really all you are is a megalomaniac.
I think that's a ridiculous statement because...
So I went to school for political science. You think Jennifer Lawrence has more of a right to talk about it than I?
The same right.
Disagreed.
She has less.
She has less education on it. She has no right.
People think the Hollywood elites came from Hollywood. She moved to 60 Minutes since we covered her.
She's never went to college.
Right. She moved from somewhere in the middle of the country, much like Trump supporters. Many Trump supporters didn't go to college. Many of them didn't go to college.
Yeah, but they're not trying to bash themselves. They're not.
Jennifer Lawrence and a lot of celebrities are always fighting against their own interests to help people who need help, who have. Well,
they're always one-sided.
You said yourself that you weren't even very politically knowledgeable a few years ago.
No, I wasn't politically I'm knowledgeable, yes, but involved not as much as I am now. I mean, I have a cum laude degree in political science from the University of Miami.
Are only people with degrees allowed to speak politically?
No, but I think that you should know what you're talking about. Be able to like, for example, that's not true.
That is true.
Not true.
It's more of a middle America, hard-working, blue-collar party.
That's what that used to be your Democrat, so sorry about your loss.
Thanks.
But, well, it didn't work out so good. No, it didn't. But I just don't like that it's, I have the floor because I'm more important because I have a ring on my finger.
Whoever said more important?
A lot of these athletes have.
They have more of an audience. We all use the audience that we have. You do.
But it's not
working. You go on
working.
TV and Twitter and say what you want. I do the same.
Right.
So does Jennifer Lawrence. So does somebody who has fewer followers but who works at a steel mill in the Midwest is doing the same exact thing.
I just don't particularly think that they're well equipped to do it, and
people are supposed to not speak because
they can
they're
speak,
famous.
But they're just not right. They don't have the right to really do it.
Oh, they don't have the right.
They have the platform. No, I mean they have the constitutional right.
Right. So what do you mean? So what's the problem?
For example, Jennifer Lawrence says she's going to go around
take
our country.
A year off acting to become an activist to help get rid of corruption in politics.
But
why
you understand?
Awesome?
No, to change the laws. Our democracy isn't a McDonald's drive-thru. You cannot go to Pennsylvania for 3 minutes and think, "Gee, I'm so famous and talked about nail polish in American Hustle, so therefore I'm going to fix your state in 3 minutes." Our political process is inherently slow because of checks and balances. To change laws is slow. To get something to the Supreme Court.
Well, she's giving it a year.
That's a joke in a half-shell turtle power.
Well, she's not saying she's going to fix all of our problems, but she's trying.
I'm taking a year of acting, and I was caught smoking pot in Hawaii.
Isn't that a night? Who doesn't smoke pot? First of all, everybody.
I don't. Oh my God, no, thank you. I mean,
it's a mistake. It's a mistake.
No, thank you. I want to take something that makes me weird and eat more.
You'd be more loving if you smoked a little pot.
I'm quite loving.
You seem to not want to embrace people that are trying to help people.
I would embrace a bag of Oreos and be so fat.
You would taste better if you were high. Point being, why are you judging somebody that wants to help people?
I just think that
your whole argument earlier was money controls politics. So if anti-gun lobbies want to control politics better, they should get more money. Shouldn't we just get the money out of politics? And if somebody wants to help fight that, that's what Jennifer wants to do, is help to take out bribery and corruption.
But I think it stems from a place of arrogance.
She never says that. She just said, I want to take a year off my job.
Her ego can't handle that.
They happen to report it. Trump's whole rise is based on his celebrity.
And when she comes to Pennsylvania in her custom 747 to Atlantic Aviation, the private the private airport, with her Louis Vuitton luggage and her Christian Louboutin sneakers, I will greet her on the plane and say,
but don't you own stuff like that?
But I worked for it, and I'm not trying to say,
she worked for it too.
I'm not trying to sit there and say, I'm here just trying to fix the democracy. Like, no.
But you are. You're sharing your ways to fix it, and she's sharing her ways to fix it.
But I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been living this. She's in college. She has no clue what the American people look like, what they look like, or how they live.
She's from there.
I was on the campaign trail.
Where are you from again?
My grandparents are cold.
Where are you from, though?
Peters Township in western Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh,
and
PA.
I don't remember where she's from, like Indiana or something.
Indiana's got a lot of affluence.
It's the same thing.
My
Donald
grandfather
Trump, your
is
boy
from
Trump's
Italy, was foreman at Willing Pittsburgh Steel,
jumping
95
on
breaking
turtles.
his
He's a nice
back.
Italian man jumping on turtles, plumbing
He can't
his
jump,
way
he's 95.
to the next level. Your boy
Self-made.
Trump's whole rise to being president was based on being a celebrity who spoke his opinions publicly. He was a reality TV host. Movie stars can't talk, but reality TV hosts can?
That's one facet of who he is, though. He's a
And that's
successful
one facet of who
person.
Jennifer Lawrence or any celebrity is, or George Clooney or Oprah or whoever.
They all make me want to throw up.
But it's the all exact same thing.
Let's see what comes out of it.
Great,
But you don't
but
think
why shouldn't she try?
She can try, but don't you think there's been Hollywood backlash? You don't see any sort of backlash in all of this recently. Like, for example, the NFL ratings. We can pull up stats and talk fancy numbers because of this kneeling garbage.
I don't think it's because of the kneeling. I think it's because people are upset.
No, when the kneeling occurred, the ratings immediately declined. I mean, it's easy to pull up.
If that's true,
which it is.
If that's true, so
people
what?
Like,
that's people
shut up. It's like Laura Ingraham, the TV host and author, says. She just wrote a book several years ago called Shut Up and Sing. It applies to everything. Shut up and play football. Shut up and act. Shut up and sing.
No, the
because
shut up and dribble thing that was said last
I couldn't
week,
agree with it more. I could not agree with it more.
Bullshit. Every American is entitled to speak. That's
they're
what our country's
entitled to
based
speak,
on.
and I believe in the Constitution, but I think they're doing themselves
Why
and their
is the
fans.
Second Amendment more important than the First?
I just said I believe in the Constitution. They're allowed to speak too, but I think it's baloney, and it's going to hurt their brand.
But they're willing to exactly every time that I speak politically, I lose fans. I'm hurting my own bottom line to speak, and I'm doing that for my country.
But I think
no other reason.
I don't think you're
and Jennifer Lawrence said the exact same thing. The article I read today, the article that you sent me the link to, she said, I need more than a quarter of the country to see my movies. Only 25% identify as liberal. So I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it for my country. She's sacrificing it in a little way.
If that's the way that it really is. But she's already spoken out. She's already spoken out against
it. And now
she's
trying to fight it
and
actually give a whole year to it.
But if it's truly nonpartisan, I support it, but it isn't.
That's what she says the organization is.
But she's spoken out against the president already.
Yeah, but speaking about the president against the president once doesn't accomplish things. You just said even working for a couple days doesn't do it. So 3 minutes doesn't do it. So you have to put sustained effort towards things.
But I don't find you to be like completely, like left-wing off the reservation. I think you're pretty moderate.
I'm fairly moderate, for sure.
I don't think you're losing people left and right. Like,
a lot of Trump supporters.
Well, I don't know. I think that if they listen longer, they'd find you people. Like, I obviously knew.
I'm very charming. I try to tell them that.
And I knew of you originally through your time on the Chelsea Handler Show, a person for whom I couldn't have more disdain at this point. I used to love and enjoy. I don't stay up that late anymore to watch her show when it went on anyway. But, there was a thing on her Twitter about with Fortune Feimster, who I'm sure you know.
Of course.
And they were making fun of Sarah Huckabee Sanders' looks.
She does a great impression of Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
But that's disgusting. Do you understand? That goes against anything you would ever believe in as a liberal and as a, like, they were insulting this woman and calling her, ugly and obese and making fun of her for her looks and nothing more. And that's quite possibly the most shameful thing.
Well, Fortune's overweight herself, so I don't know.
So it's like, I'm a fat ass, you're a fat ass, let's all like roll around in Crisco together?
Everybody talks shit sometimes.
It was so disturbing. And it kind of,
I didn't see it, so I can't comment about it.
It was really bad. And I can understand funny. And listen, I love a roast. I love when you make fun of me.
Chelsea
I used to, but I'm
offensive jokes.
But now I would not watch it. My world and my life view has changed. Maybe it was becoming a mother. Maybe it was just the timing of it. But I would not watch her if my eyes were like glued open and it was the only channel on television. But I don't really watch TV other than Fox News anymore.
But you used to love the show.
I sure did. But I used to love Anderson Cooper. Now I would rather like join ISIS. I'm just joking. That is a total joke. But I cannot watch him. I would rather like. Let's think what I would rather.
I'm always like fascinated with how ISIS recruits people as backwards, cave-dwelling organization. How they recruit people online with such top-level technology. It like fascinates me so much that I'll even search terms like
you can't do that.
Interested in jihad.
They're gonna like.
No, I don't do it from my own computer. I go to my Persian friend's house, and it works great. A lot of them leave the country after that, but they want to go on a vacation. I guess I don't know what it is.
Oh my god, that's amazing. No, joining ISIS is not a good idea.
No, it's not a good idea. Yeah, they're a bunch of terrorists.
Wait, I have a question for you.
Please.
It's we should make a bet. Like, if you get the question right, what do I have to do?
Oh, you have a trivia question for me, right?
But not a real one. It's not hard.
Okay.
Like, I would never do that to you. That's rude.
What do I have to do if I get it?
If I get it wrong? Like, what's our gamble here? Like, if you guess.
God.
If you get it right, what do you get?
I just censored 3 things in my head. What's your suggestion?
I don't know.
You got to suggest terms.
No, you're the funny one. You're the comedian by trade.
All right, here's what we got to do then. If I get it right, then you have to say Donald Trump is a buffoon.
Okay.
Into the microphone.
Okay.
And not like immediately say,
Let
I'm
me
kidding,
make
I'm
sure
kidding. You have
see
to
my
let it
purse.
sit.
Okay. Okay.
And then
you can't get up. You have to stay here.
Okay. And then if I get it wrong, I'll say whatever you want me to say.
Ooh, okay. What kind of perfume?
But what thing you're going to have me say? You got to tell me in advance. I'm not going to agree to terms that are not set yet. It's not my first wager, young lady.
Oh, God. I love Donald Trump. Let me think. Hold on. I love me some Donald Trump. I want to lick his face and make out with him all day long. Yum, yum, yum.
Not going to make yours way worse.
Go ahead. You can
You got to
revise.
say Donald Trump is a buffoon and his hair is ridiculous.
And he has poo-poo caca,
He's
yucky
guilty
breath.
of treason.
I can't say that part. Anything
say
but the
that.
treason. All right. What kind of perfume is in my purse?
How would I possibly know the answer to that?
That's why I told you that's a good trivia. What is
It's not
it?
trivia.
That's why
I'm
it was
not
a good bet.
psychic.
You have, it's relevant.
Then you fully did not set the full terms.
Don't look. Wait, he's gonna look. Okay. Wait, there's all kinds of stuff in there you shouldn't see. It's girl bag.
I have no problem with that.
Oh my God, he's picking my butt. Wait, look what's in here. Look at this. But, hold on. Oh my God, he's rifling through my bag, you guys.
Where's your perfume?
Hold on, here it is. But that's other girl things you don't need. Advil. Oh my God, this is getting really embarrassing, you guys. We're literally rifling through my...
This to a large...
I can't find it. Hold on. Hold my mic.
You don't even have any perfume in there.
I do.
I don't believe it. I don't know what's happening. I've lost control of my own podcast. Yep, there's your mic.
Okay, I really started sweating after that.
Good.
Okay.
You got a lot of clothes in there. Is that a
I
leopard
was going to
print?
go to the gym today.
It's a leopard print thing. What is this?
That's workout pants.
Okay, sure.
It's workout.
That's a perfume?
Kim Kardashian.
Kim Kardashian's Bay perfume.
I mean...
I got it right. So you please say the thing you
No
were
one's
gonna say.
saying anything. But I thought you would find that to be funny that I have Kim Kardashian perfume.
You hate Hollywood so much.
Yeah. It was a gift.
It's a little hypocritical, isn't it?
Should we smell it?
Does it smell good?
Yeah.
Does it smell like desperation and babies?
You're going to go to your dinner smelling like desperation and Kanye. It's not too bad, right?
I think it's kind of nice.
It's kind of nice.
It's kind of nice.
So now we smell it. But it's sold out, so everyone can't get it. But
Oh,
yeah, that's in my purse. Isn't that a good one?
fancy.
I knew you would never guess that, but I do have bubble gum in my
It's
purse,
impossible
too.
to guess. It's
Yeah,
an
I thought you would
insane.
appreciate that one.
That was an insane wager.
Yeah, but I thought maybe you would just guess it because it's relevant and it just was in the news. And I don't know.
Impossible to guess.
That's why I like it good. I mean, you thought I was going to ask you something hard. Well, that's
I
rude.
thought it was going to be something I could possibly answer.
Oh, God.
All right, we're going to go now into...
Sorry about
I need
that.
to pull up that email, by the way, because my thing's got 2%. My computer's about to die. But in the meantime, while you're pulling that out, let me ask you about something that's totally off
Go ahead.
some political topics for a moment.
My mom just texted me to pull my skirt down.
Really?
She's watching. Hi, Mom. Oh, my God. Hold on a second.
Hi, Mom. How are you?
Was it up? Was my butt hanging out?
I doubt it. You're sitting most of the time.
Oh, my. Do you think my butt was just done when I got up to...
I don't know the answer.
Oh, my gosh. That'd be...
I don't know
Oh,
the
Mom, was
answer.
it bad? Just text me.
Okay, so the SI swimsuit issue is now taking on the Me Too movement as well. You still didn't say what you have wrong with the Me Too. So the SI swimsuit issue, what do you? They're trying to. They're having models pose nude and then put whatever word they choose, an empowering word written on their body in crayon or of some kind.
Sure, yeah. Well, they usually do body paint, but instead of doing body paint this year, they're painting words of empowerment on them.
Right.
But they're saying they're so mad. These women allegedly, I'm so mad that I am being objectified as a woman. But wait, I'm going to take off all my clothes and paint words right above my nipple and right above my butt crack. So don't look. It's like saying don't look at the chair. Don't look at the chair. You're going to look at the chair.
Yeah.
I just find it to be it's poking the bear. If you're going to poke a bear's going to paw at you.
I mean, it is a strange place. I do agree.
It's a strange play and place.
To argue against, the objectification of women in a magazine objectifying women. But I think you said you had an issue too, or something you want to say, but there was a lot of plus size models in there.
Oh, I love the idea of embracing every woman for every size. I love the idea that there are women of every shape, every size, every color, every creed, every nationality. I think we should represent the whole world. However, I think it's almost like putting women down, and here's why. If you watch, the Sports Illustrated, which is about sports, whatever, just like a basketball game is about sports. So when we go to a basketball game, we see the most fit, best, top-performing people in their field in the world. We don't send Kevin James out there because Kevin James is what every American man looks like, and we want men to embrace their bodies because that's not how this world works. LeBron James and all his cronies get paid a premium for being the best, and these freaks of nature that can run as fast as they can, that can shoot baskets as well as they can. They're just these beasts and freaks of nature. Models are the same thing. When you're 6 foot tall and 98 pounds, you're a freak in nature.
But who's deciding that 98 pounds is
okay? Fine. If you're
is
whatever
the hot
it
look,
is,
that seems really skinny
I also think that I'm using a weird example,
right? But that's my point.
Do you think a guy that's 7 feet tall and 310 with 1% body fat? It is the way our culture works.
That's because those activities and those sports are about a particular physical performance. Being a model is about just a physical look, and so I agree with you. Somebody that's blatantly obese should not be
if you have a BMI
in a swimsuit issue.
But I think some of these people have a BMI.
Rounder bodies is
amazing.
Very good.
I love all different looks.
That's what that
but
is.
If you have a BMI that's in an unhealthy range where you're at risk of a heart attack, that makes me nervous for women, because let's say a woman.
Are there women that look like they're at risk for heart attack?
I am not one to judge. Let's get a doctor in here to talk about it. But from some people that I've spoken to have said yes. And that concerns me, because let's say there's a woman out there that opens this up and she said, oh, this girl's just like me, I'm just fine. They call the heart attack a lady killer. You know,
you're just trying to save lives, Liz Opinion. You're trying to save
I just don't want to
lives.
see people open this magazine and say, well, this is fine.
So if
and
the
I don't think it's
person
fine.
is bigger and rounder,
and she's healthy, if she is big and round, I like big butts, and I cannot lie.
You can't.
Okay,
I
love a Zoftic woman. I think it's a hot, beautiful look. I'm jealous.
Kim Kardashian, I'm a fan of the body shape.
I work so hard to get a derriere, and it will would not happen. Okay, I'm jealous. But if you're unhealthy, it makes me nervous. And I also, it's almost like that participation trophy culture. You got 15th place, here's a trophy, it's good enough. Oh, you're overweight, it's good enough. Me too, we can all be.
I think it's okay if there's something in the magazine for everybody, though.
Hell yeah, but if you're not well and you're not healthy, no. Like I said, we're not putting Kevin James out there just because that's what the average American woman is, size 12. Well, the average American man's is 42 waist, but he's not playing in the NBA. It makes me nervous for health.
But if that would happen, that would be really nice.
It would, but it makes me nervous. And I also think it's like, so men have to be their top of their game to do what they're doing. But women, you guys just can be whatever you want to be and not try as hard. It's almost like putting us down even more. So people think it's empowering. I say, no, it's like, no, we're going to keep striving and working harder and being better physical specimens and better mental specimens. But
listen, if women want to keep working on being better physical specimens, I'm not going to fight against that. I'm not going to march against that
cause. As much as like on the surface, it's about empowerment. But if you really dig deep, I think it's about putting women down. And I want to see women that are every color, I want it to be like United Colors of Benetton for size and shape. But it makes me nervous that a woman's going to open that just thinks that, okay, well, fine. I don't know what the BMI issues are, and I'm not a doctor.
Let's look at this magazine, and then we'll talk about it.
I've seen some of the pictures.
I want to have you back because this has been a very fun conversation.
Thank you.
I'm also a little bit nervous that you might have sprayed some perfume into my beer. I'm still drinking it.
We can switch.
It's fine.
Okay. I mean, there's another one. It's only $37.99 in the minibar.
Unbelievable.
Thanks, Game Show Network.
Yeah, I'm paying for the minibar. I put a card for incidentals.
Don't you get a per diem?
No, I don't get a per diem. I just maybe I do. Probably I do. That's a good point.
But that's for your dinner with your friend in Chelsea tonight or wherever you're going.
$65 per diem.
Where are you going tonight?
I'm going to a restaurant in Chelsea called Chelsea something.
He's in the hotel.
I forget the name of it. It's called Chelsea something in Chelsea. And it's supposed to be good.
When are you hosting HQ, my favorite game show in the world?
I'm going to be hosting it again soon, I hope. Also, the dates you all should know about to come see me live.
Oh, can I come?
Yeah, please do. The Laugh It Off tour. I'm coming this weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Minneapolis, the Mall of America. How American is that? Patriotic is that?
Gonna go ride the roller coaster.
Yeah, I'm going to go on the roller coaster for sure, and the aquarium, but I'll be at the Mall of America with Jade Cotta-Preda. Get tickets at Gleib.com for all these dates. Then 2 weekends later, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Not American at all.
No.
March 15 through 17 at the comic strip. Phoenix, I'm back in America.
Yes.
In Arizona, it's a red state. It's exciting. Reddish. John McCain, Senator, good man, great American hero. I'll be there March 22 through 25th at the House of Comedy with Justine Marino. Edmonton's with Ben Morrison. Last Week on Earth podcast regular. Boston.
Well, what are you in Boston?
April 12 through 14. I'll be at Laugh Boston.
Okay, I'm going to have to come.
I'll be in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. on May 4 through 5. That's an exciting one.
When are you coming to Philly?
Don't have any Philly dates right now.
Let's get
San Diego, the La Jolla Comedy Store, June 1 through 3. Dallas, Texas. How about that?
I have friends there. When are we going?
July 12 to 13. You will be opening for me with your Republican
Show me.
agenda.
Tell me.
And non-jokes. You and Tommy.
Me and Tommy can open for you.
Tommy Laren. She's going to be back on the podcast soon, I believe. And I'll be back on with her on Fox News on March 18th. I had to cancel my last show in Edmonton so I could go back on The Next Revolution with Steve Hilton with Tommy Laren and debate some issues there on good old American Fox News. And then Plano, Texas, July 14th. Tickets to all of it at Gleib.com.
You guys should go. He's a real trip, this one.
I am a trip.
Especially off the podcast. You're funnier.
I'm funnier off the podcast. Well, it depends if I have comedian guests or
I'm not a comedian. But I mean, people say
Republican strategist guests. Like, I gotta hash it out.
You're
funny.
For like a person.
You're funnier off the podcast, too.
Yeah, I'm funnier as a person.
Our texting has been hilarious.
Oh, my God, I know. We have a non-child already.
We have a non-child together. It's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. And I promised you that even though you came to my hotel room.
Yeah, you guys, I came to his freaking hotel room. You talk about me, too. I really thought there was going to be a plant. If you read it, if you don't know what I'm talking about, read about it.
What do you think this is?
Oh, Jesus.
How you like
and
that?
he got two bathrobes. And then
2 bathrobes here.
I mean, it could have gotten weird, but all he did was just give me the Bill Cosby special. So
that's right.
So cheer.
Oh my God. What's your Twitter again?
ERIN Elmore, ERINELMORE. And on Insta, just add an M in the middle. ERIN M. Elmore.
Loves that. And let me just quickly ask you a couple of questions that we talked about here on the good old. I'm going to
I hope they're light, like fast answers.
Yeah, I'm going to skip the Republican Democrat questions from Twitter answers because we already covered plenty of that.
Oh my goodness, yes.
But it is time to check in with the Gleib Squad, the Gleib of Extraordinary Gentlemen, the Friends with Benefits, the Gleib Nation, the Gleib Mob, the Glob. It is time for Twitter answers. So I asked the Brain Trust, what little habits do you have or others have that annoy the hell out of you? I'd love your answers too.
Oh, this is for you. Go ahead. No, you go. Please. Well, my husband and son sleep like rocks and they snore like, I have videos. It's like, and I'm the lightest sleeper, so snoring is just a tough act to follow.
That's not fun. I snore. I also talk in my sleep a little bit. I need that document from you because
sorry,
Toots. I'm at 0%.
Okay, sorry.
It's all good.
Info, is that the one?
Yep. Yeah, I talk in my sleep sometimes, so that's quite scary if someone's over and you don't want to be saying things.
Oh my, you're like Teresa, and it's Chelsea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
oh, girl. Is that the right one?
This is perfect. Yep. Okay, so I do agree that's snoring's pretty, but you can't help it. You can wear a breathe right strip, maybe.
No, we went to the sleep clinic at University of Pennsylvania, and they're like, sorry, Toots.
Can't do anything.
Nope.
My ex-girlfriend's dog would snore. I'm like, really? This dog is snoring
That
now?
would be my luck. I have a husband, a son, and we'll get a dog, and the dog will snore.
Yeah. It's insane.
That's going to be my life.
Kalina Scheffel at KChef15 says, when people say their kid is 24 months old, just say 2. Your child is 2.
I didn't say that.
No, I know, but people
They ain't talking to me.
And she had another one that I thought was pretty on point. She goes, when people play a YouTube video and don't move the mouse off the screen, 100% agree with that, too.
Yeah.
Pet peeve. I hate seeing the little white arrow on top of that video. I have to move it, even if it's on my computer.
But that doesn't happen on your iPhone.
There's no mouse.
Yeah, because I never use anything. But I never use a computer anymore. I feel like
That's a good point. That's why mine just died. You have to bring a whole thing. It's heavy.
Yeah, I don't do it.
Unnecessary. And then she had a third one that was pretty good. She goes, when people don't know the difference between there, and there.
Grammar's kind of gone out the window, though, these days.
Well, Twitter, it's like you just write, like, you write you are.
Yeah. I think it's, like, less of a thing than it used to be. And sometimes we all mess it up because we're typing fast. And I write to my friends that are grammar snobs, like, oh, my God, I meant it the other way, but I was, like, in the checkout at Target.
You got to make a lot of excuses.
Yeah.
We're an excuse culture now.
It's true.
At Shock and Slaw said, starting a sentence with, I mean, it's filler and provides no purpose or strength to what follows. I mean, that's a good point.
Or like, I mean, you're gross. Like something like that. Like, I mean, seriously?
A lot of girls just say I mean, and that's the whole thought. They'll go like, I mean.
Seriously.
And that's the whole thing. It's like, you mean what?
Yeah.
Tell me what you mean.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating.
If my mom writes back, you've got to read the text because she said my skirt was sticking up. So feel free.
I will tell you.
Ben is on my phone right now. He's scrolling through my not nudes.
Oh, let me
not
photo
nudes
albums right quick. Can I?
Just stop.
There's
kid nudes.
Lastly, at Kaniyuk22 says, when my wife stops the microwave with 1 second remaining, then I come in to use it, hit start 30 seconds, and it fucking beeps right away every damn time. That is annoying.
But just, if you're going to fight with your wife over that, it's going to be a long marriage.
That's a good point. Or maybe it's a small fight and that's the worst it'll get for them.
I hope so.
I hope for them that's true.
And then their makeup sex is going to be like...
Makeup, microwave sex. You fucking leave that 1 second on that fucking thing. Did I get a little aggressive there? Sorry.
No, I can't follow up with that.
Okay, fair.
Oh, Daddy, the microwave was on.
Oh,
rotate my. I don't know, something. There's Daddy in there. That's all that matters.
Agreed.
Yes.
I also, just as a little public safety tip.
Defrost.
We're about to thaw relations, you know what I'm saying? You should not open the microwave until 6 seconds after it's done beeping, because that's how long it takes for the microwaves to dissipate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so be careful. People that just pop it open.
That's me. I'm like,
no,
and I
you
eat
can
it
do it like into your eye, and the eye level one, and it's really bad. My parents both had eye things. I think that's probably why. Well, it's not why my dad did it, because he doesn't ever open the microwave.
He doesn't have eyes.
He does have eyes, but they're not working the best lately.
God bless.
Hopefully on the way back, he's
Daddy
recovering. And finally, we're going to wrap up with a very quick Thunder Round. It is time for the Thunder Round.
I'm ready.
There was a boy in China who was trapped in an elevator. Why? Because he decided to urinate all over the control buttons. Sky News reports via at UK Brain Trust. He subtitled this, "A new R. Kelly rock opera is coming." You could see it happening. I saw the video. The kid is peeing all over the control buttons and it jammed the elevator.
Did he say, "'Cause I'm a flirt"?
Is that an R. Kelly lyric?
When you come up in the club, I'm a flirt.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Oh, that's like the best R. Kelly song ever.
No, I don't know that one.
Sending it to you.
But I did see R. Kelly perform the remix to Ignition at a party, and
that toot toot.
And I went up to him and I was like, "Ignition's my favorite party anthem." He goes, "Mine too."
Good answer.
It's a pretty good answer. Have you ever peed on anything that you shouldn't have, or that you regret, or that broke anything?
I don't believe so.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you. But I have someone in my house that has quite frequently.
Your child.
That's what they do.
Yeah,
boys, I mean, you can't control. That's like a.
Like I'd like to have a kid, but like they seem like they're a real mess.
Oh no, it's worth it. You like their mess.
I don't know if it is.
No, it's worth it.
Every parent is like, "I'm exhausted. I can't sleep," but it's the best thing I've ever done. No, it's not.
No, it's really great.
It would be all positive things you'd be describing if it was the best thing. Maybe it's one of the good things, but it's not the best.
No, it's the best.
I don't get it.
I promise.
I'm going to go put the kid down. Why did every parent use the exact language?
I don't say it. Do I say that when I text you? I don't think so.
They say that. You don't say that, but a lot of parents use the exact terminology. Like when you have to end your pet's life, I'm going to put the kids down.
Or like, we're going to have to put him down. No, I don't say that.
It's creepy as
Yeah, I think my husband agrees with you on that for sure. It's a weird one.
There was a surprise hit at the Olympics in Pyeongchang.
Curling?
The penis park. There was a penis park 1 hour out of the Olympic Village, and it was a big hit with both athletes, workers, and fans. They were going, it's all penis sculptures, statues, cannons that are penises, all kinds of things. I don't know why. Apparently it's based on a South Korean legend.
Penises are good luck in South Korea?
They're good luck, yes. It helps people get pregnant if you like hang around penises. People go there when they're trying to get pregnant.
Is that so?
Yeah.
So there's a whole park, like
many penises. There's like a penis, like Chinese calendar. There's penis
like is it like a temporary thing, or it's a
it's a constant
like a permanent
museum.
fixture?
It's like an outdoor
like art. Installation art, if you will.
Yeah, but it's there to stay. It's hard and it's in charge.
It's no.
Would you visit this park when you were in South Korea next?
Why the hell not?
It's interesting to see.
I mean, now I feel like I would have to send you pictures, if nothing else.
That would be wonderful. There were classic Asian tourists posing in front of these penis statues.
It's not my next trip, though. I'm trying to plan spring break for the family.
That's sweet. Where are you going to go?
I don't know. My husband wants to go to Malta.
I don't even know what that is.
That's what I said.
I've never heard of Malta. Sounds like a political place.
No, it's a southern European Mediterranean island near I think near Libya, that area.
I don't buy that. I believe that it's.
I looked it up on Wikipedia.
Chocolate powder drinks that doesn't fully dissolve into your drink.
I don't know. We watch a lot of Willy Wonka.
Also, not a lot of great vacations take place near Libya. As a side note,
I don't know. Now you're going to get a lot of hate from the people of Malta. By the way, people of Malta, I'm coming.
Well,
they're all watching.
They have something to look forward to now, then, don't they? Identical twins.
Yes, they do.
Marrying identical twins.
Cute.
Independent.uk reported. A pair of identical brothers set to marry their girlfriends who are identical twins as well. They met just walking down a hallway or something like that, and they instantly felt attraction to each one of the twins.
I feel like that happens more than I've heard those stories before.
Have you ever dated a twin?
No, but my grandfather was a twin.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you might, if you have another baby, it could be a twin.
I'm not having another baby.
You're done with one?
Yeah.
You make him an only child?
Don't even.
It's very Republican of you. Independent, live by your own bootstraps, learn to how to make your own friends. Give him a buddy.
I'm too old.
You're not too old.
He's got cousins.
I forgot how old you said you were, but it's not too old. That's too old.
Yeah.
That's definitely too old. I dated.
You dated a twin? Was it weird?
My first girlfriend was identical twin. It was not weird. I could tell them apart, so they tried to like pull it early on me. They were like, "Do you know which one's which?" And I was like, "Yeah, I knew." But then it was totally normal for me until one day randomly.
The other one took her pants off.
No, I wish. No, one day randomly in bed, my girlfriend says to me, "You're not with me just because you want to have sex with both of us because we're twins, do you?" And that thought was never in my head until she said that. Oh, and then that thought invaded my head pretty bad.
Oh, men are so weird.
What do you mean? I didn't have the thought. She had the thought.
The one is better. It's like, I one man. It's like two of you. Ugh.
But if you're attracted to somebody, you just get another one.
Oh my God.
It's a spare.
I can throw up in my mouth. I think I just did. It's like a spare. We're not a tire.
Yeah, but you wear great attire sometimes.
That's true.
That's the beauty of...
And then it was in your head, and then it just couldn't go on from there.
Yeah, it like created a fantasy that was never in my head before.
Do they don't... I don't...
No, nothing ever happened.
Well, I'm glad for you and not you, or not glad.
I don't know if glad is the word, but that's when everybody knows that I'm not Bright Citizen Brigade, and nothing ever happened. And I'm glad. I don't want it, but I'm just saying it didn't come like an active fantasy, but it was a thought that all of a sudden would see her sister, and I'd be like, "Hey,
sister,
what up, sister?
What up, sister? You guys want to have some drinks together tonight?
Right?
Is that it? Oh, you need to unlock here.
No, I'm done. That was the last topic.
That was so fun and easy.
How was the experience for you?
It was really good.
You liked it?
Yeah, will you call me tomorrow? And,
Maybe. We've got the robes. We can put on those robes and do our best Weinstein impression. That's very disgusting.
You're much hotter than he.
That's very sweet.
And
as are you.
Than he. Oh, thank you.
That's the way I compliment women.
Though.
You're much hotter than Harvey Weinstein.
That's what
all women want to hear?
Yeah. He's such a charmer. You should be on The Bachelor.
Erin, I wish all Republicans, even though you're newly converted, were as nice as you are.
Newly converted Jew and a newly converted Republican.
A lot of changes on your horizon.
That's right.
And here's the good news. In the next few months, when the Trump presidency is over, you'll be right back on the Democratic side. Cheers on that.
Cheers to you, Gleib.
Yay. Thank you for being here, Erin Elmore.
Thanks for having me.
Until next week, this has been Last Week on Earth.